Good evening, everybody. It's another episode of In This Very Ring. We have WarGames, Crown Jewel, This Week in Wrestling, running everything right now.
What's up, my family? Listen, first-time listener, or you've been here the whole damn time. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, giddy up, let's go, no notes.
That's my baby.
That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Slap.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah!
What the f*** are you talking about?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are live right here in the A2D radio studio with another edition of In This Very Ring. I am the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. I am Ritz. Joining me as he does each and every Friday night, it's the mayor of Toasty Town, the man they call Butters. And also joining us each and every Friday night, you can find him on Birds of a Feather. You can find him on A2D Wednesday night. He is the OGP. This is Pete Evans.
What's
Gentlemen,
up, everybody?
what is going on?
I'm back. Stay away from the buffets this week.
Stay away from the seafood buffets.
Yes.
We are brought to you each and every week by Alonzi Travel. Alonzi Travel specializes in creating the vacation of your dreams at Disney, Universal, or wherever your heart calls you. Let their talented team of travel experts, including yours truly, create a custom vacation for you without any of the stress. Alonzi on over to alonzi-travel.com/take the trip to get in touch with myself, fellow A2D host Chuck Moranin, or any of the other talented travel agents that we have at Alonzi Travel, and we will get started planning your next vacation as early as tonight. Gentlemen, it was announced Monday night. WarGames is upon us. We have our men's WarGames team, which brings us to our poll question. Our poll question this evening brought to you by our friends at SpecializedPhysicalTherapy.com. Dr. Paul Vidal and his team, 2 locations, Burlington and Cherry Hill, New Jersey. He's our doc, make him yours. The men's WarGames match will end up being 5-on-5. Agree or disagree? Let's set the stage. It is the Judgment Day. JD McDonough, Dirty Dom Mysterio, Senior Money in the Bank, and one half of the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Champions, Damian Priest, and the other half of the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Champions, Finn Balor, going up against the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Seth freaking Rollins, main event Jey Uso, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and Sami Zayn.
Wow.
He's got nothing.
Way to give poor Sammy some
He's
love.
got no moniker. He doesn't need it because he's Sami freaking Zayn.
See, you could have said that, but you're just like, and then there's Sami Zayn.
Yeah, it was supposed to be funny. I was supposed to get a laugh out of you people.
Yeah, that wasn't funny.
Bite me.
Stuck it.
So, Pete, we're going to throw it to you. What do you think?
Because what it's the first session is what 5 minutes 1-on-1,
I do believe that is the correct time. Yeah.
and then is it another? Back in the
I think
day,
it's 5-minute intervals.
back in my day, then it was 5-minute intervals in between until you had all the competitors in the ring, and that's it.
Back in my day.
Games has begun. So I think, but didn't they shorten it most recently to like 3 minutes or 4 minutes or something like that?
I am looking right now
Wee.
at the rules. Keep talking while I try to find out.
Yeah. Wrong button.
Just based on the time frame, I'm trying to remember last year because it was the Bloodline.
Last year was 5-on-5.
So it was 5-on-5 last year.
But the problem with that is traditional WWE WarGames has been 4-on-4.
versus WCW and NWA.
Yeah, see, WWE WarGames sucks ass. Like if you mention WarGames, you're taking it from an intellectual property that you acquired back in 2001 for pennies on the dollar, and now you want to use it. It's to me, it's 5-on-5. It's not 4-on-4.
Right.
But for storytelling purposes,
yeah,
it's for what they have thus far in front of them. The 4-4 works. I don't know how and who we get to 5-on-5.
So, just to interrupt you, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
After the match begins with one member of each team entering the cage. After 5 minutes, a member from one of the teams would enter the cage. After 2 minutes, a member from the other team would enter to even the odds for the next 2 minutes, and then after that, it would alternate in 2-minute intervals.
Yes, I'm gonna based off of that. So essentially, that means if you do 4v4, you have 5 minutes, 2. So at most, by 15 minutes in, all 4 competitors are in the ring.
correct.
Yeah.
So I know my math may be off slightly, but somewhere, yeah. So if they're doing it 2 minutes, I don't see how 5-on-5. Would I like to see it because there's just more carnage? Yeah, but for storytelling purposes, I think they're going to stick with 4. I would stick with 4 versus 4. But if it's just me and I'm answering this poll question as what I would want to see, I would want to see 5v5. So I would agree to the poll. I just don't know realistically how they get there. That's I don't know where. So if you agree to the poll, right? Who's the fifth for each side?
So if you get there, to get there to the 5v5, at least for the Judgment Day, you put in Drew. They've been teasing Drew. Drew's been, he's had that look in his eyes. But as for the 5th member for the other side,
Kevin Owens
is on SmackDown. They're using Raw talent.
I don't give a damn.
Yes, he didn't.
But all right. So, but it's Survivor Series though.
But both GMs are kind of at odds with each other still, so they don't want.
What a better way? What a better way to further that storyline too? Because you're not going to give me a traditional Raw versus SmackDown, which you've already started teasing, which is the problem there. You started, and this is where I'm so conflicted. I'm sorry, I don't mean to hijack this.
No, you're fine.
But I'm so conflicted in the fact that you've been teasing Raw versus SmackDown. You've been teasing this back and forth banter between Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis, which if this leads to Adam Pearce versus Nick Aldis, I'm in there like swimwear, right? But if it doesn't, and you're just building to a Raw versus SmackDown, the place to do it is Survivor Series. The place to do it is WarGames. If you're going to build Survivor Series around WarGames like you're planning to this year anyway. So that's where I'm hung up. Kevin Owens fits that storyline.
I got one better for you if they do it.
All right, so give me 1 second. Here's why he fits the storyline. He fits both storylines. He has the past with Sami, with Cody, with Jey, with even with Seth, all 4 of those men against the Judgment Day. And he furthers the point of Raw versus SmackDown because Nick Aldis can turn around and be like, well, your Raw guys needed to bring one of my SmackDown guys in to handle problems. Or something to that effect. However, is a cutesy way to do it, right? That's the only way you get to 5-on-5 until we get to Pete's comment. Past that, I'm kind of in the boat with Chrome. I disagree with the poll. I don't think we get to 5-on-5. I think we stay at 4-on-4. I think it's to your point, it's from a storytelling perspective, it makes sense. But if you're looking at taking multiple storylines and working them in here, you have a way to do it.
I mean, myself, I'm going to disagree with the poll only because it's WWE. We're going to do traditional WWE WarGames. It's going to be 4-on-4. It's just last year we just happened to have that sweet spot where we could do 5-on-5 versus this year. It's just kind of.
Yeah, but your sweet spot is Drew McIntyre.
But who was 5v5 last year? It was the Uso,
Bloodline.
Sola,
Sammy and Roman.
right?
Yep.
I have it right here. Hold on, I have it right here. I have it right
It was
here.
KO.
Where is it? I want to make sure I don't pass it. The Brawling Brutes, Drew McIntyre, and KO.
So yeah,
All right. So if you're talking about incorporating storylines into it, and you want to cross brand, and because this really feels like Raw versus Raw right now, because that's what it is. If you
I just don't think they're going to cross brand.
Right. So if they don't cross brand, so this is to Butter's point, if they cross brand with Raw, it's easy to, and they want to add a fifth, then it's Drew, but I don't know what they do with the fifth over there. If they want to cross brand, they want to just throw one person into it, then to me it should be, we all kind of seen it. They kind of went away for a little bit, but that pact between the Bloodline and the Judgment Day is still kind of there. And you can, obviously Roman's not going to work the event, so you can't get Roman, and they wouldn't take this long to kind of promote him for the event. But you realistically could do, if it is 5 versus 5, you could do Jey Uso with the Judgment Day, and then you do LA Knight with Cody and the boys, because that's kind of what they're hitting to already. Because LA Knight, he blames Jimmy for costing him the match at Crown Jewel. But once again, I think the cleanest thing to do is just don't touch it. Let the 4v4 tell the story. You know what I mean?
But I'm never one to where I like that we're all on the same page for a poll question.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't mind stirring the pot a little bit. So if it goes to 5-on-5, I'm not mad about it.
Right.
Right? Like at the end of the day, if you do now, unless you just pull something fucking random out of,
you would have to see a return of somebody.
Well, and now, so that's where you go up to, Damien's got it here. Drew's the 5th member for the Judgment Day. Orton or Punk for the 5th member of the other team. I don't think Punk, but
I don't think Orton either, because why would you put him in that brutal of a match? Because
you can
hide him. You can hide
him so well.
Okay, he doesn't have to carry it.
Yeah, but you can hide him in that match so well, especially if you were to pair him with somebody and this.
But then again,
this is such a bad thing to say, and I feel so bad for saying it. But JD McDonough is your wild card on the Judgment Day. He's somebody that no one's gonna be like, oh, what's JD McDonough doing? Right? In this match, it's somebody that him and Orton can just kind of tussle over a chew toy and call it a day.
And I mean, Orton joining would also track with Cody as well.
But does Orton go back to Raw or SmackDown? What is he truly on?
Who cares?
This is just for one night. Like, you can't, like, but I get what you're saying, but it's like, but you don't look ahead, don't look past Survivor Series. Like let's get there first.
Yeah.
But I mean, long term wise, I mean, and plus it is Randy Orton. He really doesn't. He doesn't need to do anything. Like, honestly, outside of my own selfish purposes, if Orton never wrestles another match, or never has another match, never takes another bump in the ring for the sake of his back, he's done enough for me. Like, I don't need, like, I want you to be able to play with your kids and RKO your daughter in the pool, or get RKO'd by your daughter in the pool, or your wife, or whatever have you, right? But once again, I think they are waiting for the right time. This may be it, but like, I don't know. Like, how do you?
So I get where you're going with, all right, Orton, you've done enough. You can ride off into the sunset. I don't know if I'm Randy and I look back at that last match that I had. That's not something I'd want to hang my hat on,
especially who it was with.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to hang my career on that match.
I mean, if we wanted to add Drew McIntyre to this match and keep it 4v4, we set JD McDonough to the side.
But see, then you have Chrome's bit here. Right, where is it? Chrome says, I think the power struggle between Rhea and Priest ends up resulting in Drew taking out Priest, joining the Judgment Day. Priest's face turn to follow. I don't hate that. That's how you keep it 4-on-4, and that's how you end up with a Priest cash in at the end of it all. right? Because keep that in mind, guys, right? If Damian stays in this match and Damian, let's just say and we're really thinking far ahead, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's just say that the Judgment Day wins this match. What's to stop Damian from cashing in and capturing the gold at Survivor Series?
The way that happens is they have to lose Monday. They can do that.
It's for the titles Monday, isn't it?
Exactly. They can't do that if they're still the tag team champions.
Yeah, they could. Freebird
They
rule.
could, but here's the thing: the Freebird rule and all that other shit with New Day did. I don't think.
But it makes JD relevant to the group now.
Right.
Now you have. Now you truly have every member of the group holding gold. Yeah, JD de facto. Right. But I think that's a great way, and it's a great way to end the year.
True.
All your titles, with the exception of the Intercontinental title, all your titles on Monday Night Raw are sitting in one spot.
Right.
With one group.
Right. And I'll say this, I'll definitely future book 6 months out. Whoever takes the title off of Gunther at WrestleMania 40, the next champion after that should be Dom Mysterio. Hands down. Hands down.
We're gonna put a pin in that and come back to that later.
I mean, hey man, you can do what you want, yo. I'm just saying.
Only because there is a part of me that doesn't hate that.
Right.
There is a part of me that says
I see Champ Dom.
That Dom's the one to beat him.
To beat Gunther?
Yes.
You could do that.
It's a terrifying thought in my head, but there is a thought in my head that says Gunther loses to Dom. I kind of hate that, but it fits that trajectory of Dom Mysterio, right? Like he's on that, and it's not a. At first, you would think that Dom's trajectory went straight up, right? His trajectory, when you really look back at everything, it had such a beautiful climb that he's kind of at a leveling out point right now. He's become a side character in this whole while
you're doing that, it's almost like, and here's the other thing too, like I think Dom, what he can do with the NXT North America title, and this is he's kind of completely hijacked our thought process, is the fact that I think he's done enough. Like, I don't think there's more that he can do with that, but I also don't want to see him without a title. Hence why also, if they still go the route with the Priest cash in and they don't speed that process up, they still win Monday night. Then you have JD taken to the fact, and he kind of slips in right there where Priest's role was at, or Dom's role was at, to then they can now be the tag team champions. To me, you feel what I'm saying? So that's kind of where that rule is. Oh, hey, like look, he can just take my spot. They haven't done that to this point yet, where they've had the titles and try to have some. I thought they did do that one time. Didn't they do that when they had the titles before they dropped into Cody and Jey? If I'm not mistaken, didn't Finn and Damian, they had to defend the titles, and one of them was hurt, and Dom felt in. If I'm not mistaken,
possibly.
Yeah, I think so. I do believe that you are correct on that one, Pete.
Okay.
Dom did fill in.
So there you go, where you keep them, because the Judgment Day still has to stay relevant. I don't think Jey or Cody, whoever else will have you, becomes irrelevant out of that. And I can still see Drew joining and have a fifth member. It's just going to get convoluted. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
it's going to get a little crowded in the Judgment Day.
Right. Once Priest wins the world title, once he cashes in, that's when I think that face turn happens, similar to whatever. And I think Priest will be fine on his own. You know what I mean? I almost and a part of me, I think Rhea just needs her, Dom, and JD. That honestly, I think that's all they need.
Well, and Finn's become a supporting character. Dom, to a certain extent, has become a supporting character in this battle. JD doesn't even fucking exist in this power struggle between Rhea and Priest.
Yep.
It's a catch-22 for me, because I did not like Damian Priest as a babyface. I want him as a heel. I can't, in my head, figure out a way to where Damian wins the title, leaves the Judgment Day, and stays a heel. Because the next evolution in the World Heavyweight Championship title picture, you have to go heel with it. Because you need to build a babyface other than Seth.
Mm-hmm.
You need to bring one of those baby faces. Maybe it's a Sami. Maybe it's a Jey. Maybe it's Cody. I don't think it really be Cody, but you can take one of these guys and elevate them, and it's believable again that somebody can, that they can beat them, right? That somebody can beat Damian Priest, and Damian Priest is enough of an asshole as a heel to where you want to see him lose. He was a chicken shit heel that won on the cash in. He's always had the Judgment Day behind him. Now he doesn't. Can he stand on his own? Yes, he can. Oh, he's still a prick. Now I want to see one of my heroes go whoop his ass.
Could you? Is there a way? For one, I think Drew's too big for the Judgment Day. That's just my opinion. I don't think his prime has come back to him to where I don't see him as a viable world champion anymore.
So two things. I want to pause you for half a second. Drew would replace Damian as the big guy, right? As the muscle.
Here's where I was going at, and that's to me that's the easy that's the easy way, right?
That was number 2, by the way.
Also, is what if you kick Finn out? I know he doesn't like it.
I'm gonna defer the answer to that question. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show the OG host of Birds of a Feather, the OG host of Lazy Booking. Also find him on AGD Wednesday night. Hell, he's on Here's the Thing with Mitch Williams. He's got another show coming up with Meanie on Monday. The man's everywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Chromiak.
What's up, my boys? Sorry, I had to pop in here. I'm listening to you guys. I was gonna pop in and out because I really haven't watched Raw yet, to be honest. Right. But I had to chime in here. I want to clarify one thing first. My theory with Drew has nothing to do with Survivor Series. I think that's going to be a storyline that carries out after.
Okay.
I want to put this out here. First of all, disagree with the poll. I just think you make it more complicated and cluttered than it needs to be. And so I think you leave it 4-on-4. You're good to go. You don't need KO to be a part of it. I could see the LA Knight thing you guys brought up, but I don't think that's necessary either. That's more of a bloodline thing than it is. So you don't really need that. That being said, my theory with that is obvious. It could tie into Survivor Series. So I'm going to put this out there as a bold prediction for Survivor Series that Damian cashes in, defeats Seth, takes the title. Hold on one second.
This man comes in here repeating something I said. Hold on, I want to mess around with the layout for a second. Oh, no, I don't like that at all.
No, we don't.
I don't like that at all.
Well, you're repeating then what I said last week because I mentioned this kind of, but
no, not that. He was talking about the layout, not what you were saying.
No.
He heard what I said about repeating what I said.
Okay.
Yeah, his headphones weren't in.
But yeah, cashes in. Then the storyline carries on after Survivor Series, where what I talked about last week, right, Andy, with the whole thing with Rhea right now. She's the world champion, so she has that over Priest's head and everybody else's head in the Judgment Day. So if Priest comes in and says the power struggle continues and said, well, you're not the only world champion now, right? I think that's where Drew gets infused. Drew takes him out. They battle. Drew takes the title off of him quickly. Because I think if you go Priest face here, you need, first of all, I didn't like Priest being Money in the Bank, Mr. Money in the Bank to begin with. So I think if you do this, it's a way to not have another failed cash in to get a title off of somebody or get the briefcase off of somebody that you shouldn't have put it on to begin with. But you give him that chance, and now you give him that face turn to where he can chase. How I think every big baby face really makes their mark is it's in the chase, right? Have him chase, and Drew gets his championship back, which is kind of something he's been dying. Like, you know, it's been the whole story.
The whole reason for the crown jewel match.
Exactly, right? So have Drew end up becoming champion. Drew carries the title for however long, maybe to Mania. But you have Priest then, successful cash in. Now he's chasing. He's out. Drew's in. And then that's how I think that carries out. And that all carries out between now and Rumble.
Do you think, though, that Damian would be a good baby face? Like, I don't see it.
I saw it. First of all, A, I think I saw it immediately with the Bad Bunny thing a couple of years ago. And B, if you saw how over he was with that whole Puerto Rican thing, you could really play that off the way that show in Puerto Rico went with him and Bad Bunny. I mean, dude came out a star, in my opinion, there, and then they kind of just didn't book it right again.
I guess I like him better as a heel. I did not like him as a face.
I think he's Mr. Robot. Like he's so mechanical and so like by the book heel 101.
That's why it works as a heel.
I don't think it works because there's.
But here's the thing though. I think what we're also with Priest. I think he doesn't have to be face heel from the standpoint of his actions. He has an edge to him no matter what. He's so fringy, right? Like if you see him, if you just out and about, like sleeveless t-shirt, biker jeans with the chain, long hair, boots, whatever, all the tats, you want to grab a beer with the dude to have a conversation. You know what I mean? So I don't like a goody two shoes, whatever. It's like not so much that like a face, but I don't think that'll ever be him. I still think, like, honestly, when you say Priest, he's embracing the darkness of Damian Priest, right? There could be a time where he's a face, what have you, right? You can embrace the light. You can have a Priest and be all white. Like imagine his shit with all white, with gold or Puerto Rican flags or whatever else like that. Just visually, that shit still works, right? I agree with Chrome too. When you put the money in the bank on him in a group, it convoluted everything. You knew at that point it was going to be a long, drawn out storyline, but you hope that they have that in place. And I can see that as well with Chrome's point, Priest cashing in, Drew taking off, and maybe at Rumble, whatever have you like that. At that point, where do we go? I mean, because it isn't Roman, right? But if you lock me in right now, whatever they're doing with Roman, and we all know what possibly may happen. But if you give me Drew versus Cody for the World Heavyweight Championship as the other title match for WrestleMania 40, bitch, sign me up.
Now you're getting Roman. It's gonna.
I think you are too, because we kind of heard the Romans, whatever it's like that. But if that's another option, they can go. Priest versus Drew World Heavyweight Championship match at Mania. That works too. It's just I don't know. Like
we want to talk about Damian Priest and the Money in the Bank. I hated it. I was in the same boat as you, Chrome. Like I was not a fan that he won Money in the Bank, and then
Should have been LA Knight.
Absolutely, 100%. But when you take that and you look at what he's done with it since, it hasn't been a horrible run.
No, it hasn't.
No,
I liked, Pete. I kind of disagree with you a little bit where you said it all felt like it got convoluted with him being in the group. I think that enhanced things, because anytime there was a beat down or anything like that, especially when it was Seth versus Finn. That was always lingering in the background. And that, for me, is what really amped up me liking this Senior Money in the Bank storyline.
Well, it also, to kind of echo that point, when I said didn't like it, I felt as if, like we all said, we've all in unison said that they should have went a different route with the Money in the Bank money. We all said that. I remember that show when we did the previous show. I said, listen, I picked Priest to win. That's my gut feeling, but he shouldn't win. Exactly, solely for this reason. But the visual at that point, especially when he didn't have a title before they won the tag team titles, With Dom won the NXT North American title, Rhea being the world heavy, the women's champion, him holding up that Money in the Bank is damn near almost as good, just as well as holding up a title. You feel what I'm saying? So the visual of that, you know what I mean? But now they teased it. It's almost double Duchess, yo. Well, I know what you're talking about. It's double Duchess what they were doing when it was Finn and Seth, especially even at SummerSlam. Like it's like, all right, like is he gonna cash in? Like you can only tease me so much to get me up for that to when you finally do it. So do you think that they're on the verge of the blow off when they do it? Are they going? Have they missed the moment, or do you think they can create a moment where it's so dramatic that it's still going to pay off?
I think the moment comes at Survivor Series. I think
as the cage is going up.
I think if you don't do, if the Judgment Day wins and you don't do the cash in, that's when you've missed your opportunity because it's literally right there for you,
all laid out on a silver platter,
right? Like everybody, because at the end of every WarGames match, the losers they're not moving. The whole point of the match.
But do you think what similarly happened on Monday when Sami came out of the crowd and stopped it? Do you think because you're talking about
really there's
six other dudes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but to Butter's point, everybody's out.
I would hope if they do that, right? And this is just a long shot. For me, what I would do is match over whatever. Seth and somehow Damien's still in the ring. Cage is going up. Everybody else is out. Cage comes back the fuck down. And it's just them two. Or it's just Seth and the rest of Judgment Day. Everybody else is already going to the back at that point.
You don't have everybody go to the back. Everybody's going to be beat
No, but outside.
I think you do the whole listen, you handcuff like the NWO did back, right?
Okay.
Great time, by the way. If you're anybody out there who really hasn't gone back and watched the history of WarGames, great time to do it. Go back and watch 96, I believe it was, the first NWO WarGames, right?
Yes. Ooh.
Speaking of going back.
Yes, I did. Whoever this guy is who commented this is extreme.
This guy.
What a brilliant mind.
What a stooge.
Would you mind letting the people know what this comment says?
Yeah, listen. 2 years ago, a phenomenal interview we did with Nick Aldis. Basically, when he was the NWA champion, and it's probably one of the best interviews we've had in terms of pro wrestlers we've had on here, who obviously now is the SmackDown general manager. And if you haven't checked it out, go back in the A2D archives and check it out. It's one I promise you'll enjoy it. What a brilliant guy.
Anyway, so before you get to your point talking about NWO and how you tie everything in, I want to run the Royal Billiards ad, and we'll be right back, okay? All right, guys, we'll be right back after this message from our friends at Royal Billiards.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, proudly celebrating 40 years and our new, bigger showroom.
Twice the size and twice the fun.
More pool tables by Olhausen. More dartboard sets, including custom reclaimed backboards. More bar and kitchen stools that can change a room.
And more bars, including pre-built and custom.
Hot tubs, skee ball, shuffleboard, outdoor,
and fun.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, your ultimate game room store. Now located on Bethlehem Pike in Colmar.
We are back. We want to thank Royal Billiards for sponsoring this portion of our show. Find all your game room or man cave needs at royalbilliard.com. Chrome, you were just telling us about WarGames 96, NWO, and how that's all going to tie into Judgment Day cash-in.
Yeah. If you kind of throw back to some of the stuff they've done where they've had factions in WarGames, the whole thing, when the heel team wins, they do the whole handcuffing guys to the ropes, handcuffing guys to the cage, beat downs. And then there's usually somebody vulnerable. If you remember, like we said, back in 96, it was Macho Man, right? Where they did the infamous promo on him and Liz, spray painted the yellow streak up his back. You could do the similar thing, right? We're talking about Sami, right? Sami's been trying to do everything he can to basically thwart the attempts for the cash-in, right? But if you can basically get the upper hand and basically eliminate those factors by handcuffing guys to here, putting guys through tables, however you figure out to do it, you can accomplish the same thing. Then Seth's the only man standing, at that point.
The only swerve I see here, and Pete, you may be on this wavelength with me.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you separate Damian from the Judgment Day. It's a failed cash-in.
You could. And remember, to your point, Monday night, he was doing that without Rhea. Remember, because Rhea was telling him, no, this is not the time for that. And he was just, Monday, he was just like, screw it. So if they let him go, and he is all right, you think this is the right time?
It could be a failed cash-in, which would give Damian the sympathy of the fans, right? Maybe not directly, but an indirect kind of sympathy, and now he's able to chase that way.
Or they readdresses him down, like, you know what I mean? Like, stupid. This is why I'm like, because everybody knows she's a leader. She hasn't appointed. She hasn't come out herself and said, "I'm the leader of Judgment Day. I'm this." And if that's that moment, then you get that moment, right? You talked about the Macho Man one, right? So I can see Sami being the scapegoat for the person who gets worked over in this match. Keys 215 says, I don't think so because they're only non-heel champ right now. There's no way that they'll have all heel champs. Somewhat true. But they also could do, which I think is still one of the best original finishes in WarGames, even though Sid probably fucked it up, is what Brian Pillman. Remember that whole Brian Pillman, his shoulder, and they were fucking his shoulder up. They were working.
He almost dropped him on his neck.
Exactly, for the powerbomb. But before that it was a whole shoulder work angle. So you can kind of do that with Sami too, but a lot. So what is it, 2 weeks away?
Yeah, it's right after Thanksgiving.
Night, right?
It's Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
These next two Raws will tell you a lot about what booking direction and what story they're trying to tell heading into WarGames. Just for WarGames. I mean, obviously overall for Survivor Series, but for WarGames, because this match is so big and you're not going to have Roman on the card, they're probably going to end the night with WarGames.
Well, you have to. Right, you have to end the night, and you have to end the night with this WarGames, right? You don't end the night if the women end up doing a WarGames. I love all the women and everything like that, but none of their storylines are at the level of this and have the potential outcomes that this one has, because we want to talk about older WarGames, right? You think back to all the random heel turns or face turns or whatever throughout WarGames, especially during that WCW era with the NWO.
Even look at the NXT ones. The NXT ones.
And even the NXT ones, right? So you think about all those different turns and those pivotal moments. This one literally has pivotal moments written all over it.
Pivot.
I think that at the end of the night, we're looking at a brand new landscape of Monday Night Raw.
I mean,
because what's next, right? You have a blow off TLC pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. If you're even gonna do one in December, and then you go straight into the Royal Rumble. So this sets up what your landscape looks like going into the Rumble for Monday Night Raw specifically.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I still think for me, I don't know who, like, the Judgment Day almost needs to win WarGames.
I think they have to.
I think they have to. Like,
they win Monday night. They win Monday night.
You're saying they retain, which I would love.
What is the match Monday night?
It's the rematch for the tag titles
versus Cody and Jey.
And the reason why I think that
Monday night.
You think they drop them?
Yeah, because I think that starts the cogs to the breakup.
If they go that route, yes.
I think too. If you're gonna have them win at WarGame, I mean, I could be wrong on this. Just trying to think if they're going to win at WarGames. It doesn't make sense a whole lot to me to steamroll them when the inevitable breakup is kind of on the horizon. They've made it pretty obvious that's coming. So to have them just steamroll all the way to there just seems a little.
My only caveat to that is, Chrome, is I like Jey. He could stand on his own, obviously, main event. But to me, the whole last 18 months of what you have a tag team partner for Jey that would mean just as much as what his brother did in some sense, and Sami. If Jey, I would love to Sami and Jey is attack full circle as somebody, even though Cody's the one who wanted Jey there. Cody doesn't have what Sami and Jey was.
They have the history.
They don't have it.
Yeah, but I disagree in this sense, right? The whole Cody, they made that work, Cody and Jey, right?
Right.
The last thing I think that main event Jey Uso needs is to be constantly thrown in tag teams.
Agreed.
True, but where else he's going to? Right. If you look at the next 6 months, where is he going to go outside of him? And his brother?
Hold on, and Crum, I don't mean to interrupt or take the spotlight here.
No, you're fine. No, you're good.
But that's where you go back to Judgment Day retains. They win at WarGames. Damian walks away as champion. Now you can have a fresh cast of characters going after that title, like main event Jey Uso, building up to the Rumble. Because I don't think Jey is going to win the Rumble, right?
Right.
But
Cody's going to.
You can't, in my opinion, you can't keep calling Jey Uso main event Jey Uso if he's not going to be in the main event picture.
Well, why can't Jey be the one to take the title off of Gunther?
They don't, and honestly, behind the scenes,
I would hate that.
They don't know who they want to do that yet.
So I die. I'm gonna die on this hill. I don't know. Again, I'm still unsure if I like this or not. I think Dominic is the one to take the title off of Gunther. I'm gonna die on this hill, but again, I don't have a reason why.
Here's
it's just what's in my bones.
I don't think there's any chance that happens.
But to Chrome's point, and this goes to my point too. What would be bigger? Everybody gets their shine. Jey takes it off of Gunther. Dom takes it off of Jey at some point. I'm talking SummerSlam 2024.
Well, why does Dom have to take the title off of anybody at this point? Like, why is that?
I'm talking 6-10 months down the road.
But I'm saying, what makes him what puts him on that level of Intercontinental Champion? We're putting him in a conversation with Jey and Gunther in a one-on-one situation.
Well, not with Jey and Gunther. I'm saying Jey, Gunther, WrestleMania 40. Jey goes over.
I know what you're saying, but I'm saying what puts him on that level as a single?
Because he's fucking dominant Mysterio.
First of all, they're piping in the crowd noise, right?
But I'm visually Bonnie and Clyde between him and Rhea.
They saw it. They decided they were going to ride the dragon and they were going to manufacture it. So let's make sure
you're the first.
None of it's organic. None of it's organic at all.
Right.
It was originally.
It was, and then it wasn't, and now it's whatever we're at now. It's some weird, fake meat stuff.
There's two people, in my opinion, I think they're going to take the title off. It's either going to be Jey Uso, or I still think, because they continue to still mention it, eventually it's going to be Chad Gable.
And that's where that's my hope, right? But in my head,
what I would like to say.
In my head of what I see WWE doing, because again, they're manufacturing this Dominic Mysterio stuff. They're kind of saying this is who we want to put our future behind, and it's a long future, it's a rough future, but they're going to keep him in this level and in this conversation. We can't have you, continuously doing the NXT stuff while we're still showcasing you on Raw. So it's not how I feel.
But I'm just why can't you?
Because I think with the move to CW that's coming, I think we get all the Raw people back on Raw. I don't think we see them show up on CW.
No, we see more talent show up on CW just for the fact that CW,
Great point.
Yeah, I know. I fucking failed that one. No,
repeat that. I didn't hear that.
There wasn't much to it.
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure it was pitched to them. You you got NXT with some Raw talent, some SmackDown talent coming in and out here and there. You know, CW taking the bite. So why not have them keep doing this showcase? Have NXT showcase a little more with.
Because again though, I don't, and another hill I'll die on. I don't like the continual. All right, we're gonna take somebody from Raw or SmackDown that we really don't have anything for them to do up there, and we're gonna bring them down here to NXT. And yeah, they're gonna hold a title, or yeah, they're gonna do a blow off, storyline. While we could be taking some of these other people and highlighting them and showcasing them, which is what NXT was at its core, right? You never saw this happening before. I want us to get back to that.
Oh well, you're never going to get back to that because you're not going to get the talent pool is nothing like it was then. That wasn't incoming talent, Andy. That was all like Adam Cole was a massive name. Samoa Joe,
Kevin Owens,
Tyler
Sami
Black,
Zayn.
they're all monster names. These are all
and I get that, but
but it doesn't make. Listen, hold on. I'm going to let you say. Let me finish my point here. First of all, the network thing doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that they're on different networks. It's WWE. They can put people. They cross the network at people all the time. I don't think that makes a difference in anything. But the other thing is, I like it. Look at what Becky Lynch did, going down there, making Tiffany Stratton, making I can't even say her fucking name, Valkyria, whatever.
Lyra Valkyria.
Look at the matches that she had, whether it was on the main brand and over there, cross promoting it, having people from NXT show up on Monday night or was she Raw? Yeah, she's Raw on Monday Night Raw. I think it's totally fun. I think Dom's done a phenomenal job with the North American champion, and because he's a young guy, he can go and do multiple shows a week. It's not like asking AJ Styles to go and pull double duty all week. I think the fact that Dom can go down there.
I mean, what was it? A few weeks back, Dom had pulled he did 7 matches inside of a week, more than anybody has done ever.
The only thing is with Dom is he's not doing it. Like, they haven't built Dom until the point to where they're allowing him in the ring, whatever's producing the matches, to have a work rate where he can win these matches on his own. So if I see Chrome's point, but you have to think when he's traveling with someone else from the Judgment Day because they're going to help him win. That's how they're booking it. So what do we say? Go ahead, Chrome.
Well, I'm saying that's why it's Rhea. She lives in Florida. I mean, first of all, so she's not really traveling very far to go and do it. She's essentially getting to hang out at home and go drive, 20 minutes away from her house to go do these shows.
Right. And once again, I just want to preface this like we're here with Dom, but I'm talking 12 months down the road, 10 months down the road. We don't know where Dom is going to be at. And this really comes down with that fucking face down there. It's just a crux. You're just not as high as Dom is as I am, probably. I don't know about Andy and Butters. Then if that's the crux of it, then this is why we have this platform, agree to disagree.
Well, no, but I get where Chrome's going. I get where Chrome's going, that Dominic is nowhere near on the same, and there's no disrespect to him, right? On the same caliber of talent as a Gunther or a Jey. So why is he in the same conversation when talking about the Intercontinental Championship? I get where you're going, though, Pete, when you look a year down the road, or either one of those two even in the Intercontinental title conversation, right? You're talking 10, 12 months down the road, Dominic could be holding the Intercontinental title. When you look at everything and you look at everything stacked up, there's a part of me that thinks Dominic and Rhea are going to be together in that 10, 12 months down the road. So it is very possible that Rhea helps him win the Intercontinental Championship. Eventually, it's going to come to a point where she's going to help him win a title, and he's going to be like, no, I don't need you anymore. And that starts his quote unquote downfall of things, right? When I go back to the NXT cross branding and everything like that, if it fits in the moment, fine.
I hate this brand split, by the way. I think it's awful.
I do too.
They should just have everybody on every show. I don't give a shit about this brand split at this point.
I still live in the notion of NXT is a place where stars are made, right? The Tiffany Strattons, the Lyra Valkyries, the I mean, even Mello got made there.
Lana Valkyria's name shouldn't be even near Tiffany Stratton's name, in my opinion.
Regardless, right? That's a different conversation for another day. But Mello, Trick, you look at all these other talents, I like to see them be elevated.
To your point, Andy, right? Okay, first of all, I think time in NXT for Dom is beneficial, by the way, because he's still developing quite a bit. Secondly, so being at the Performance Center and having extra time there, to me, is a benefit.
And he actually gets to talk on NXT.
Correct. Great point. Secondly, my point about Dom, Pete, let's not make assumptions here. I've been high on Dom before a lot of people on this platform were high on Dom, before you were high on Dom. And Andy knows that. I was singing his praises when he first turned heel. I thought it was a great move to have him turn heel on Eddie. Or Eddie, friggin' Ray.
Right.
But my point, they have found a way to recreate the Intercontinental title to be what it always was. I don't care what NXT was. The Intercontinental title has a lineage of being the workhorse title. At this point with Gunther, you put a guy like a Jey Uso, Intercontinental title, main event Jey Uso, that is Intercontinental title caliber. He is someone believable to take the title off of Gunther. It should not. And Gunther, although on television matches, you tend to have interference and stuff. If you watch a lot of his pay-per-view matches and the really big matches, he wins clean.
And the Imperium's usually not at ringside for those matches.
Yeah, so it's the workhorse title. He's a heel who wins clean. So if Dom ever gets to that level, which I think he will eventually, it's not going to be when he's with Judgment Day. It's going to be when he's on his own, when he's ready to branch out. He's not ready yet to branch out on his own.
Well, I still don't know why you're putting this much effort and time. You keep saying, like I said, Jay and Dom at Mania. I'm talking 12 months. This dude can progress so far.
I don't think he's going to get there in 12 months, buddy.
Okay, then that's why you're on. And I don't think that's a fair shot because I think he can get there in 12 months.
Do you know why part of the reason they have him do what he's doing now is because he still can't talk great on the mic? So part of the reason why they have the crowd kind of cut him out and do this and that, when he does get extended time to talk on the mic, he trips over his words and shit, bro. He ain't ready to be on that level.
But he's a young kid. Let's move on because you're missing my point. You're putting so much stake and juice.
No, I'm catching your point.
But I'm still talking 12 months away, Chrome. You making it seem like how can his name be mentioned in the same token in the same sentence with somebody when we're talking 4 months?
You think 12 months from now, you think Dom Mysterio is going to be on that level? He's going to be on that level of Jey Uso and Gunther.
Listen,
who can go on the mic and talk, who can who their work rates through the roof. You think he's going to be on that level?
For every horse work rate that you have, for every Ricky Steamboat who's held the Intercontinental title, you always had a honky talk man, right? You always had a transition. I'm not saying even if Dom wins it at some point at Jay, then Jay takes it back. You had somebody that was a sneaky heel who won the town. Fucking the Mountie was the fucking IC champion.
You know who's better? You know who's better than Dom right now? It should be an Intercontinental champion. Chad fucking Gable, who talks.
I would love Chad Gable.
I
would love Chad Gable. You're the one who introduced Jay's name.
You think Dom is going to be
Andy? Who introduced Jay's name to win the Intercontinental title? It wasn't me.
I did because first of all, he ain't getting in the title picture.
All right, stop. Everybody stop. Everybody get back in the car.
My iPad's going to die in a minute anyway. But I'm going to make this last point. The thing with Jay is the whole topic of why Jay came up was he's main event Jey Uso. We don't want to keep throwing him in tag teams. How do you make him relevant? How do you make him continue to be main event? Throw him in the Intercontinental title picture against a Gunther. Have him take out Gunther and continue the foundation that Gunther has put in, the work that Gunther's put in to make it the work rate title. He can still main event shows as the Intercontinental champion, putting the best matches on night in and night out. That's why Jey Uso got brought up in that conversation.
But
Dominic Mysterio
it's going to be Jay versus Jimmy at Mania, right?
Yeah, I mean, he could be the Intercontinental champion, not defend it, and go against Jimmy at Mania. Or maybe you put the title on the line. Maybe you make it a title match. That's the point I'm making. You asked me how Jay came in. That's how. Andy asked, how do you make him a main event?
Everybody get back in the car.
No. Oh, I'm not getting back in. I'm gonna walk.
Fine, I'm leaving you on the side of the road.
Spirite.
I'm walking the rest of the way.
Everybody listen to me. I'm just trying to shut everybody up for a second.
You're the only one talking right now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What are you doing? Look, at the end of the day, when the dust is settled and the smoke is cleared, okay, Gable's taking the title off of Gunther.
I hope.
I don't see Jey going into the Intercontinental title picture. I see Jey getting involved in this world title, this world heavyweight championship picture. That's why he's on Raw. It's one of the reasons why he is on Raw. When you look at the cast that's in that title picture, he fits that mold. He fits that era. Is what I'll call it, right? As far as Dominic
guys,
Mysterio,
I'm literally gonna die in like a minute. So
all right,
I'll be in the
ladies
chat.
and gentlemen, Chrome.
Guys,
Later, Chrome.
Great
Bye.
time talking. Great
Peace
argument. You guys are doing a phenomenal job on Friday night. So everybody better be tuned into this show. Best weekly wrestling show anywhere you'll find. Love you guys.
Oh, shucks.
Love you too, buddy.
Except for when you talk about Dom Mysterio, fucking Pete. Bye.
All right. Anyway, as far as
Gingers.
right? As far as Dominic goes,
You still have your soul, Pete.
it's so hard to look 10 to 12 months down the road because what's the biggest factor? We've touched on it so much in this last 10, 15 minutes of YouTube bitching back and forth at each other is the Rhea Ripley Judgment Day factor.
Mm-hmm.
Will Dom be able to stand on his own? Because when he does, what happens? He loses.
Mm-hmm.
Will he still be with the Judgment Day in a year? We don't know. Could I see him being an Intercontinental Champion? Yes. Why? Because as of right now, as it sits, he's a workhorse, in my opinion. Right? He has taken everything they have put in front of him, and he has gone out and done it to the best of his ability.
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot of respect for that. Even when you think some of it's probably dumb as shit. Like the jail stuff. It's all stupid. But he's gone out there and he's done the best that he can with it.
Yep.
Right? Damian says, why does Gable need to win the IC title? The man's a cartoon character. His gimmick isn't serious. It's like Otis winning the Money in the Bank. Damian, I say this with a lot of love and a lot of respect because you're here each and every week. You are not watching the same program I'm watching.
And
thank you.
I kind of, if you're just looking at it on the surface level, what they do and had that comic relief, yes. But if you look at his actual background, they can flip that switch real quick.
Not to mention, look at his in-ring work.
Right.
He
They
ain't
can
a
flip that
cartoon when he
switch
gets in
real
that
quick.
ring. He is not a cartoon
Well,
when he gets in that
and
ring.
when you look at, he's such a polarizing character to Gunther. I think that's what makes him look so much more like a cartoon character because you have Gunther, who is this very
Massive
refined.
motherfucker.
No, not even that. This very refined, this very strategic, methodical presence, and then you have Chad Gable, who in the ring is a ring general himself. But he is also has a personality. He's a little bit more relaxed. He's a little bit more laid back in comparison to Gunther. So in that, Gunther makes Chad look sillier than he really is. I mean, for hell, the thank you is goofy, but it works. The shoosh, it works. If we put Chad up against the Miz, we're not having this conversation about cartoon characters and all that.
Right.
But when you have somebody who literally walks out with his hands behind his back and walks to the ring and gives somebody his jacket, all of that, that's where it's such polarizing opposites. We've had a great conversation on WarGames. We really got off topic talking about all the components of WarGames, but that's what is so beautiful about this match.
Right.
There's not just one overarching storyline. There's an A plot, a B plot, a C plot, a D plot, an E plot. There's a million different ways to go through it, and it's one of the best things that I love about wrestling right now, and especially WWE, is you can't 100% figure out where they're going next. Right?
That's
We
true.
all have different thoughts. We all have different ideas. Some of it overlaps each other, but at the end of the day, none of us agree 100%. We're going to go to a commercial break right now. We're going to come back. We're going to talk Crown Jewel. I want to break all that down. So we'll be right back after a word from our friends at Carlino's. Wrong button.
In our family, food is our daily bond. My Nonna, affectionately called Mama by many, found solace and joy in the kitchen, sharing her love through delicious creations. She turned her culinary passion into a flourishing business alongside her husband and sons in 1983. Celebrating 40 years is a testament to our exceptional team, friends, family, and beloved customers. With gratitude, we look forward to the future, expanding our brand to share the highest quality Italian food and wine nationwide. Our heartfelt thanks to everyone who has played a part in our story. Grazie mille.
So I'm just saying, Pete, like my birthday's coming up. Right? Like if you're feeling the love for your favorite Jew, I'd appreciate that Hanukkah birthday gift of some Carlinos.
Carlinos.
Yeah.
Fun fact. I had some Buc-ee's this week.
Did you really?
Yeah. So coworker of mine traveled through Tennessee, and they got a couple where they're building them in Nashville now. There's two in Nashville.
Yeah, my buddy Bill, he's done a couple. He's been around for a couple of shows that we've done.
Okay.
He services their HVAC systems.
Okay.
And so he's there, every so often, and I love the beaver nuggets that they have there. And I saw when I was on my way to Disney, but I didn't grab one. He grabbed the beaver nugget candle that they just came out with. So that's what's burning right now.
Butter toffee thing?
Yeah.
That's what I had.
Yeah, those things are amazing. And my room smells like a big bag of beaver nuggets, and it's phenomenal.
Nuggies.
So as soon as I bit into it, I was like, this tastes like a cereal. I've had this taste before.
It's like corn pops.
No, I'll give you one better. It's even closer. Waffle Crisp.
Ooh, good call.
It's just like Waffle Crisp. It's like the maple syrup, butter toffee, all. It's just deliciousness. I'll put it like that.
But anyway, we are back. We are going to talk some Crown Jewel. We want to thank Carlinos for sponsoring this segment of everything. As we go through Crown Jewel, we'll talk about some of the matches, some of the results. We previewed it last week. We saw some fallout this week from it, but not a lot of. Probably the biggest thing, we'll start here because it happened on SmackDown tonight. Logan Paul won the United States Championship over Rey Mysterio. Believe it or not, with the help of Santos Escobar, like indirectly the help of Santos, because one of Logan's cronies brings out the brass knucks. Escobar takes it from him, but then Escobar places it on the apron while he chases the crony away. Logan grabs them, uses it, wins. We saw Escobar turn on Rey tonight and attack him, viciously attack Rey. So let's kind of break all that down. First and foremost, what did you guys think of that match? What do you think of Logan being the champion, which was something we kind of talked about at length last week?
I mean, it brings, don't get me wrong, it brings more attention to the brand. It brings, it's Logan Paul. He's going to have that title, on his podcast. He'll have it with whatever interview he does now. It's going to bring more attention to the WWE. He's already taking pictures in the shower, in the bedroom, you name it with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's everywhere at this point.
Well, that's just a replay of the Shawn Michaels thing.
He's claiming he's retired from boxing now so he can take up wrestling full time. So now that he's the champion, it's I didn't want it, but it's a good thing to happen.
Best thing that could have happened to the United States title.
Yes.
And especially if you catch not the promo, but the conversation of between Rey and Logan at the end of the match, where Logan tries to play off this, hey man, a lot of love for you, a lot of respect, and Rey's like, you know what you did. Logan goes, I have no idea what you're talking about. I did what I had to do, blah blah blah. Right. That exchange right there, in of itself, is better than anything else that could have come off of it. The Escobar thing was just, in my opinion, a long time coming.
Surprised it didn't happen sooner, to be quite honest.
I think part of that was the knee injury, right? Yeah. They wanted to wait a little bit before they went down this road, and I think it sets up for Rey to kind of ride off into the sunset.
Mm-hmm. He's almost 50, man.
Yeah, but he's done it all. He's literally done it all. He wrestled Dom at WrestleMania. He wrestled his son at WrestleMania. Done everything. And what a way to...
He's held all the titles you could possibly...
Right. What a way to end the career than have this match put over the future of, that lucha style of wrestling, that Latino wrestling, heritage, than with Santos Escobar.
To echo what you just said about the best thing that can happen to the United States title, I absolutely 100% agree. Look at where this title was at a year ago. Look at where we were going at in the Survivor Series last year. Last year, Survivor Series, we were looking at a triple threat match for the U.S. title. It was Austin Theory, Bobby Lashley, Seth Rollins. Austin Theory had a rocket ship strapped to him coming out of that match as a title, as a champion, right? Yep. So then once the draft happened, man, that title went. Once he got moved to SmackDown, it was, I don't know. That was it. That was it. If they would have left him on Raw somehow, some way, I think the title would have been better off for it. But once he got moved to SmackDown, they tried to bring it back. They put it on Rey, and you remember how that all went with Santos was supposed to take over the slot. It was Rey versus Santos for the final slot for the contenders match to go into it. So that's why we said, when Santos said tonight, he had it coming. He had it coming because you did this to yourself, right? But Rey's always the perfect scapegoat as a face, as a baby face, for anybody to take their frustrations out on and they'll always get over, right? But yeah, definitely. I mean, and then from what the early rumblings are, we all know how the IWC is in the dirt sheets and all that shit. The rough outline plan, I like it. I like where they may go with it, but like you said, how Andy has his belt sitting right here, right on his very ring, blanket right there. I mean, Logan Paul, when he be drinking a prime, he's already taking pictures with it, quasi in the shower, which I just think that was Photoshop. Thank God. But yeah, he's already taking pictures with it. It's getting so much press, so much. I
mean, if I won that title, I'd be taking a hell of a lot of pictures too. Shit.
Dude, I mean, it's not like
exactly what we said would happen happened. Every media outlet on the planet
covered it,
had their eyes on WWE Sunday, actually by Saturday night. And that was all anybody was talking about leading into, NFL Sunday and Monday on all the sports shows and everything like that. So it's from a business perspective, it's a great move. From a title perspective, it's actually a really good move as well, because now you're going to take a baby face of some kind and you're going to put him up against Logan. And that's a great way to put that baby face over. Who that's going to be, I don't know. But Logan is that type of person to where he's just enough of an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
You want to see him lose, that he's going to immediately take that person and whoever it is, pluck them from obscurity and put them on the same level that he's at when it comes to popularity.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm in 100% agreement with you. I mean,
can see that.
Have him entering in Royal Rumble wearing the title. He'll be in the Royal Rumble again. And maybe the next time you see him. I don't think you're going to see him until then. Maybe what's the pay-per-view next month?
There isn't one.
There isn't one.
Yeah, the only pay-per-view WWE has right now is NXT Deadline. That's it.
But I think we do see Logan because
I think you see him. Like, do you think you see him in a match on the SmackDown? Or do you see
maybe because there's not a PLE in December.
Okay,
I could see them doing something because the other side of that coin too is right. Logan's wrestled in main event matches. He's been on different pay-per-views. He's been on WrestleManias. He's been in the Royal Rumble. Right. He's never wrestled on a weekly television show.
Right.
And he just said recently too. I think this week alone, he's ready for the full time.
And that's great, right? Like one half doesn't the other. I don't care if you're ready for full time or not. I definitely think that you need to with this story. You need to have him wrestle and not having the PLE forces that hand.
Yeah.
You force the hand of, all right, let's put you in front of a weekly crowd, right? And go from there. You know, Daniel says you think the plan will be to have LA Knight versus Logan Paul at Mania. If you talk to some people, yeah. If you talk to me, maybe. I don't hate it. I think it works. I think it's a step down for LA Knight in a way.
That's what, like, when you were saying the obscurity part, if they do that route, obviously LA Knight is not an obscure personality, but it's a personality that can play off of what Logan is. He's just as charismatic, he's just as boisterous, but just in a different fashion where the fans are behind him. But I also, I mean, because honestly, you don't. Unless LA Knight wins the Rumble, when you say it's a step down, I mean, he has no title right now, and probably not in the foreseeable future, not going to be in the world title picture on any brand. So the next best thing is, since he can't go ahead.
And this is where I kind of contradict myself a little bit. Because it's Logan Paul,
right?
I think is where it's a step down for LA Knight.
Okay. Is that being a part timer or because I mean he wrestles better than some full timers. Absolutely,
100%, yeah,
absolutely does.
and he talks better than some full timers too.
I just think that LA Knight, while as great as he is, as over as he is, he needs that weekly to bi-weekly banter for his storylines to make sense, because he can't just sit there and keep, running his mouth saying yeah and all this other stuff without having someone to give him new ammunition for.
Well,
in that very next sentence, though, LA Knight could go on a show like Logan Paul's, like just randomly show up.
Yeah,
LA Knight could go on McAfee, right? And talk about Logan and set these different things up, and they could do something at McAfee's Thunderdome. Like, there's a million different ways to play this out moving forward, and LA's the right guy to do that. I just don't know if I like the matchup of LA Knight versus Logan Paul, especially if you turn around and tell me that Logan may win the damn thing.
I don't think that would happen.
I hope not.
No.
If it's them two at Mania, I get no.
If anything, LA's taking that U.S. title off of him,
which is fine. LA deserves the championship, right? He's put in the work. He's on that climb. I'll die on this hill. While the match was great, and we'll use this to transition into
Crown Jewel.
Roman versus LA Knight. I think this was a step backwards for him. I don't know if at the end of it, because of how close, and we say this every Roman match, how close he came and how the finish just didn't fit the match.
I swear to God, I feel like that hand went down for a 3 count.
I do too.
And that referee just fucked up.
But how the finish just didn't fit the match. Right? I'm now looking at LA Knight going, all right, well, you need to go slap that motherfucker across the face and go take the title off of Roman. Oh, wait, no, you can't do that because X, Y, and Z, and we're finishing a story in Philly in April. All right, well that doesn't work. Okay. All right. So what's the next best thing? All right, US title. I think you never should have put LA up against Roman right now.
No, and that was my fear. When we had this whole build after we came out of the pay-per-view in October, can't remember what it was, Night of Champions, maybe Night of Champions, whatever it was. But when we came out of that, and then Cena came out the SmackDown after, it said, "Oh, well, Crown Jewel is coming up." Somebody, whatever, it's like with John and Roman said, "We did this before. We did this 2 times before already." And they said, "It's not me. It's LA Knight." It was like for me internally, I was like, "Yeah." Then I was like, because remember we were talking the show before that, or 2 shows before that. Like I want to see LA Knight versus Roman for the title because I know Knight's going to lose. I know he's not going over. Give me that at Rumble. You got to give me that closer to Mania. Now it's November. What do you do with this dude for the next 5 months?
Well, and in that sentence, right? You let it build this Logan Paul LA Knight thing. You slow build this, and it can, and to some aspect of it, it can work, right? But the big payoff for this is at the Royal Rumble, where LA Knight, he's talking about going and getting this title, off of Roman and blah blah blah.
Honestly, LA for this match to even make any sense, for it to make LA get over a little more. Why isn't he going after Jimmy? Jimmy cost him this match.
Well, he said it tonight.
I didn't really watch that part of the night.
But so to further my point, right? If you would have heard the whole thing,
the eye gaze, y'all, as you lock eyes,
right? Is you have LA still going after this title, title that Roman has, and Logan Paul is sitting there going, well, wait a minute, you do this every week. You've been doing this for 15, 20 years, however long LA Knight's been doing it, because he's been in the business for a while, right? And you never held that goal. You couldn't get it done. I've only had 2 championship matches, and yet here I am holding the title. Right? At the Royal Rumble, Logan eliminates LA. Now you're fast building. Now you're doing a program with LA Knight and Logan leading up to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That's how you get LA Knight to Mania over these next 5 months. Right? Because it could be LA Knight and Roman again at the Rumble.
I thought about that.
LA Knight loses, enters himself into the Rumble, and we still get the elimination by Logan and yada, 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 and so on and so forth. Damien, what product are you watching? LA Knight's a jobber. Does he really need a title? I mean, ever since he came to the main roster, it's been nothing but jobber segments and matches, excluding the Bray storyline, but other than that. Where's my dummy button?
Are you drinking the same juice I'm drinking? Because Jesus, you're drinking dummy juice, and I just, that's my thing.
But that's what you do with LA Knight. Now, in talking about the match, if you were going to do Roman versus LA Knight, and you were going to have it as kind of we're going to test the waters and see how this goes, you do it at Crown Jewel. You do it in front of a crowd that you know is going to be hot for everything, for everyone. So your crowd factor's not playing into it. You're looking at how does this look on camera? How do these two work in the ring? How does all these other components play? Can LA Knight operate on that main event level with somebody of the caliber of Roman Reigns? I think we checked off all the boxes coming out of Crown Jewel.
Right.
You take the good with the bad a little bit.
Yeah.
Back, going to you guys have anything about those 2 matches before we go to any of the other ones?
About the Logan Paul Ray or
no? I mean, other than what I said about the referee, good match though on both of them.
No, it was good to see how Knight handled himself in the ring in that moment and on that stage. And it looked believable. That's that whole thing. Like, yeah, you the magic of what they're doing, and this is a nod to Roman as well, as to knowing that, all right, maybe this guy doesn't have a shot at winning because you can kind of read in between the lines, but they still get that raw, primitive emotion out of you, like, oh, should they get so close? Oh, should they get so close? And then we've had that with everybody. He's made every challenger look believable because he's looked beatable at some point, right?
Yeah, and I even said it. I think I said it in our, because we were all messaging. I had our chat going on, and I have this comment up here because I want to touch on it. We had our chat going on, and my chat with Jackson Silent Hill going on. I said it in one of them. I said they may actually pull the trigger because a report had come out that morning or the day before or whatever have you that Roman was going to step away for a while from WWE. And I said, maybe they might actually pull the trigger because they don't know how long a while is. And to your point, it just plays into that. They had me, oh, you know what? This could happen. This could work. This could be LA Knight's moment. Damien says, I'm sorry, but I'm not into the Rock and Austin 2.0 crap. Even when he was in TNA, I never liked it. Now, that's fine. That's respectable. I'll give you that. But don't disrespect the man and call him a jobber. And that's where I take issue with it, because he's not a jobber, right? Nope. If he was a jobber, we wouldn't be getting the entrances. He wouldn't be getting the promos. He wouldn't be getting the segments. He wouldn't be getting the match that he's getting. He's a talent, and he's on that main event level. Is his character 100% original? No, we've talked about that. We've touched on that.
Even down to his boots, bro. You know his boots. But what are his boots from? His wrestling boots.
I don't pay attention.
Air Jordan 11 Concords. I'm telling you, hands down.
I don't know shoes either. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with you saying I'm not into that aspect because it's not an original concept. The bitch of it is, though, he makes it work. Until we start really talking about it, we don't say, oh, he's just a Rock and Austin copycat. Because he took the best parts of those guys and made it a little bit his own. You know, when we talk about selling cars, when I teach guys about selling cars, I say, hey, I'm going to tell you a word track to use. I'm going to give you the line to say to the customer. It doesn't work unless, one, you believe it yourself, but two, you make it fit your vocabulary, your style. We've all got different styles of saying things. It's no different than on here, right? This dum-dum has a different opinion than Pete, than me, than Chrome, right? Is he an idiot? Sometimes, yeah. But that doesn't make him wrong. Right? That doesn't make him stupid. It just makes him an idiot. Or, if we're sticking with the LA Knight thing, dummy, yeah. Thank you. So he's able to take things, and sometimes his zingers suck.
Yeah,
they're bad. It's okay. Again, that goes back to he makes it his own.
Yeah,
and no one's perfect.
And then the other thing too, like where you were saying with Roman going part-time now, not part-time, he's been part-time, but as far as just taking a step, like it's hard for it. When we talk about the Intercontinental title, we talk about workhorse. Seth talk about it, but it's like, bro, like who is there for? Why should, like, I'm to the point now, and this is kind of WWE's fault too. LA Knight, and we said this in the chat. I had said this in our chat when Crown Jewel was on. It's like this is the first dude that is not established a true up-and-comer, a fresh face in the main event scene for WWE, right? If he beats him, like, this is the first one he's done. Like, it's no retreads, right? So at this point, why is the Roman beat her? Who is he going to beat her for? There's no one that's believable to beat him. So you want to get those fans like, all right, he's never there. He's this, he's that, he's this. But I do, like, he's beating everybody that's on it.
If there was ever a time for Roman to not be on, this is the time right now. You let him. I'm a little salty that he's not going to be on Survivor Series because it is the Big Four, right? I feel like you should highlight all your top talent should be on that card in some aspect, right? Or at least on the show in some aspect. So I'm a little salty on that. But if you want to tell him, hey, we'll see you January 1. And we don't even need you every week, January 1. We really just need you like January. I'm picking random dates here. We need you like January 15th so you can come in and set yourself up for your Rumble match. We'll let Paul do all the heavy lifting, Paul, Solo, and Jimmy. And you just got to show up, make face, and remind people you are the tribal chief as we get into your Rumble match. This is that time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Silent Hill saying Roman passing Bruno.
Not in a million fucking years.
What is that? Where is that taking? That takes him past Mania, doesn't it?
I think it does.
No. Roman passing. The next one for Roman to pass would be Hogan. That's past Bruno's another couple years.
Roman Reigns title reign.
I do believe Roman's third right now in the title reigns.
I'm trying to get that list up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's like 2,000 days, 3,000 days, something like that.
All right.
Bruno's another. I think Bruno, he would have to. I think it's 2025 or 2026 would be Bruno for the number one spot. But Hogan, I think, is past somewhere between SummerSlam and Survivor Series.
Here we go. Okay. Here we go.
I think he's already surpassed Bruno's first
Here
reign.
we go. Let's.
Bruno had it for like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, that's the number one. Yeah, big time number one. That's one I don't see anybody breaking. Even Roman. Sorry, that's just too long.
Yeah.
At least in this day and age.
Aldis gave it a run, but I think because Aldis, I mean, obviously not in WWE, but just in wrestling in general, Aldis had a really long reign with the NWA title.
Yeah, I can't find it. I'm too many other.
Yeah,
too many conflicting lists here.
Yeah, it's he's up there. I mean, it's up there, but nevertheless, like you said, Andy, this is like even tonight's SmackDown, right? You had one Bloodline member there, it was Jimmy. Like that's the benefit of having a 2-hour show. Like you have so many different ways you can go with time to fill a show. You know what I mean? Like I don't think Solo wasn't pictured, Heyman wasn't pictured, obviously Roman wasn't pictured, and it's Jimmy in this ridiculous red jean suit. I don't understand how.
And that's the other benefit of actually not benefit, right? You look back to Impact.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
okay, here we go.
Early Impact. Hold on. You look back to early Impact. You look back to even kind of early PG era. You didn't have everybody on every show every week, right? Especially in the Attitude Era too. Was like this.
Mm-hmm.
You had some of your top guys, right? But you were rotating people out, and that's what made Impact so special. Was I would turn on Impact one week and see the Jeff Jarrett Kurt Angle storyline, and then the following week I'm seeing like the Christian Sting storyline or whatever it was. Right, that's the main. They had multiple main things going on involving their main event talent. All right, what do you have?
So currently Roman is fourth.
Okay,
at 1,164 plus days. Next would be Bruno's first longest reign, which is 1,237 days. So that's about 73 days.
That takes you to almost Royal Rumble.
The next would be Hogan at 1,474. That's I think 313
about another year.
Days.
That Hogan's would be another year, but I think. To go back to Silent Hill's comment here, Roman passing Bruno. I think I hope he's gonna talk. He's referencing Bruno's that first reign there. Right? I don't think he passes Hogan. I don't think he passes even Bruno's longer one.
2,803 days.
Because if they do that,
it's over 7. That's almost
yeah.
7.
Bruno had it for like 7-8 years, right? I will never have an era like that again.
Right.
You can't, because now, like, even now we're 3 years in. We're halfway through this thing, and every single week we're like, yeah, this is nice. It's okay, but damn it, I want them to lose.
Bungo Magungo.
Because it doesn't matter. Like, I know the matches just don't matter anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my biggest problem. But let's keep moving. We're kind of running out of time here. Does anybody else have anything from Crown Jewel before we get to really the other big thing to come out of Crown Jewel was the return of Kairi Sane. We would be remiss if we didn't bring that up. Woohoo!
The Sky Princess is back.
We would
best match of the night.
Best match of the night, and if you watch the segment tonight that they do, where Kairi's like, I forgive you, I respect you, you're the leader of Damage Control. They do the group hug, but Bayley's really like, I don't trust you.
Right.
We're building to the breakup of Damage Control. We're building to
Women's WarGames potentially.
Maybe a bigger faction. I think it was you that said Asuka would join that fray at some point. I think we see kind of like
from what I've seen, I think it's the end of the night. Shotzi helped out the other, the faces, so you get that shot.
Damage Control de Japón.
Huh?
You never heard of Los Angeles de Japón? It's a faction of IWG and New Japan.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying that as far as from a women's stable perspective, with you know what I mean.
I see what you did there. I missed it at first, but I'm with you now.
If Dakota Kai is good, I mean, then we'll see Damage Control versus, Charlotte, Asuka, Bianca, and Shotzi.
I definitely think there's a turn there, whether they turn on Bayley or what have you. But
yeah, no, I think
because Bayley's been referenced. Here's the other thing too. For the first time since she turned heel, Bayley's been referencing hugs again.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard it in a couple promos. I've seen it on social media.
Give me the hug back. I love my hug.
Right? Like I think some of that's coming. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Where's my wacky wave inflatable?
Shut up.
Tube bin?
I think that's on the horizon. But does anybody have anything else? Like I said, we're almost out of time here.
Thoughts on Joe giving up the Ring of Honor television title?
Didn't care.
You couldn't put Keith Lee over?
Didn't care.
Is that what he did?
Yeah.
Yeah. He choked out Keith Lee and then said...
And then vacated the title.
Vacated the title. So the next gold around my shoulder is going to be the AEW World title. Laid the title in the middle of the ring and walked the fuck off.
And then when the Acclaim got attacked by the Devil, which that segment, like, I didn't care for us cutting to MJF running back there. Yeah, Joe comes back and makes a comment towards him, right? So now Joe's on MJF's radar. If they would have stopped Dynamite, I think it was on Dynamite when that happened.
Yes, it was. It was.
If they stopped Dynamite with MJF running out of the ring,
was the Devil still in the ring?
No, the Devil wasn't even in the ring. The Devil was on the screen.
He was backstage.
No, he wasn't even backstage.
No, they were showing the beatdown.
No. I'm talking the actual Devil.
Oh,
was not at the beatdown. It was the four guys beating up on the Acclaim. It fades to black. The Devil's on the screen. It cuts away, goes to the ring. MJF hauls ass out of the ring, runs to the back, has this really weird, like, I think Joe might have missed the mark, or MJF just got back there too quickly for them, because he's like looking around. He's like, oh man, he does it again. He goes, oh man. And then Joe comes up and talks to him, and they end the show. You stop that show with the devil on the screen,
Right.
because it's so much better. Because MJF's in the ring, the lights go out.
They
show the camera up, pointed at the stage, so you get that. Oh, we're watching what the crowd's watching, and then it cuts to the other camera feed.
Right.
That part was perfect. It was so well done. Joe laying down the title, I didn't give a fuck.
That's God, I just feel so bad. I feel so bad.
Ring of Honor titles.
So back to the devil real quick. Do we see throwing him through the glass? Harking back to Jungle Boy's glass comments. CM Punk, the whole thing. Could we see this as Jungle Boy behind the mask? CM Punk?
That'd be so dumb.
What about CM Punk pulling, the biggest swerve in wrestling history? Never really was fired. They just, hey, he was fired. Pulling out these, talks with WWE, making it look like he's truly gone, and then here he's back as the devil.
Could it still be Roderick? Because is he really hurt? Because he's not really confined to that wheelchair, bro.
Yeah, I still think it's Roddy.
It could be Roddy. It could be Adam. They could be pulling a swerve without him.
They could. I mean, they could.
There's a lot of what ifs.
I can't, like, with all that going on. I feel so bad for Keith Lee.
I do too.
They could have put Keith Lee over. They could have gave him that title instead. It's I'm going to choke you out, and he's just going to vacate the title.
Could it be Britt?
Yo,
I mean, the devil was a little skinny in the shoulders.
but that withstanding, right? Like, let's actually really think about this for a minute. Let's take the comedy out of this for a second. If it's Britt, that opens up such a new.
My mind would explode if it was Britt.
It's such a, like, I can't even fathom the depth of character that would bring for not only her, but also Adam and like everything. So many different characters change and are affected.
Because think about it, she's controlling everything. So she's having Roddy and them. Say it was her. She's having Roddy and them attack everybody that's helping MJF for Adam. Adam could be behind the scenes calling the shots, but Britt could be in the front lines, saying, "Hey, all right, Adam, okay, you want to do this? Cool." She's in the front lines with the mask on.
God, that would be so huge. I really can't fathom that. But I like it. I don't hate that. I really don't. I think
it's almost like Britt pulling all the strings, similar to what Rhea is behind Judgment Day.
Or Vince being the higher power. You want to go back to the corporate ministry and all that.
God, don't let it be Tony.
I'll quit. I'll quit immediately.
But no. In all seriousness, though, but Britt, that would just, like I said a while ago, it would just blow my mind. That would be the one thing you don't see coming.
Yep.
Yeah, you wouldn't see it coming. But all right, guys, that's going to be it for us tonight. We had a great show. We talked WarGames. We talked Crown Jewel. We talked a little bit of AEW. We will be back next week. Next week is going to be the 17th. So that is going to be a Survivor Series preview. Actually, it's not. I lied. It's not. We're going to do a little fancy booking next week. A little bit more traditional Survivor Series kind of tactics. We'll have some fun with it. The three of us will talk after we get off the air of how that's going to look. On paper, in a perfect world, the 24th, so Black Friday, is going to be Survivor Series preview. And I would like to do live reactions on the 25th. I don't know if we're going to be able to pull it off. I got to double check the calendar of things to see who has shows doing what. Because I don't know if any of the Thursday shows are going to push to Saturday or not. So let's see how everything plays out. But a perfect world, that's what I'm looking for. We want to thank all our sponsors, Allen D Travel, Carlino's, Royal Billiards, Specialized Physical Thank them for sponsoring all our shows here on HD Radio. For Pete, for Butters, I'm Ritz. We will see you guys on the other side. Peace, love, and joy.